I remember my mother, she always wore heels to church because I grew up in a very religious family. And like we went to church every Sunday, like a few days out of the week, and I would steal her heels. And I would go to my room and close the door, and I would just practice dancing in her heels until one day she found them, and I just told her, "Oh yeah, I just wanted to know like how people walk in heels. I was just curious." And I remember my sister, she used to have like one of those doll mannequin heads that like had the hair, and I would always steal it like when she wasn't in the house, and I would just like practice like doing the hair and like playing with it.
So if we're going back to the very beginning, I've always wanted to do drag actually, since I was maybe in like middle school, high school. When I first stepped on stage, like I had my little intro part like choreographed. As soon as like the number ended, I was just like, fuck yeah. And I took my little bow, I walked off stage and I was like, it's so weird switching back into like regular day job life where I walk into work and no one knows that I have this like double side. It feels like I'm Hannah Montana. I feel like at night I like do a switcheroo and suddenly I have a wig on and I'm like, shh.
Yeah, and it's like this very much so feels to me like the girl like dating like a jock, but like she like smokes cigarettes on the like fucking what the fuck are they called? The
Bus?
the stands.
Bleachers.
Yeah. Like with this one, I like to wear these like really pink slutty overalls that are super short and so many coochie coochie. It's like whole ass serve.
For some reason, I think red is just very easy to work with as an eyeshadow for me.
I
So
don't feel the same way. I don't know how you work with yellow red eyeshadow.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I feel like blue is harder to work with than red for me.
That's so wild.
As a kid, I was always attracted to the fierceness of just like pop stars. Like seeing somebody like rise from a stage in a rhinestone bodysuit with like fire cannons and dancers behind her, you know, that's just what would get me excited. And when I was in elementary school, I would always, you know, like try to copy like Britney and Beyonce videos, that kind of stuff.
Before I deployed, because I'm a military queen,
He's talking about nothing. I'm like, say what?
my friends were like, "I think you would make a great drag queen because you have the grace, you're a dancer." So I started practicing makeup while I was on deployment, ordering makeup, having it shipped to our location, and we didn't really have anything to do, so after work I would go back into my room and I would sit there and practice doing faces and take pictures and send it to my friends. And you know, they're such good friends for the motivation, because now I look at the pictures and I'm just like, what was I doing?
This is where the magic happens. It's a lot of stuff, very indicative of where my life is. You know, we got like shit all around, whatever. But yeah, this is all of my shit. And also, to be honest, like sometimes when I do makeup, I truly have like zero idea what I'm doing. Sometimes I do looks that I feel like don't fully represent me, and then people are like, "Oh, this is like the best I've ever seen you. Like you really need to do this look more." And then I'm like, I don't wanna. I've always knew like what song I wanted to do. Chinese American 21-year-old, almost 22-year-old. For my first actual time doing drag, International District Sale.
I do love a matching two-piece. Like, you know, there's this little patent leather thing with this matching skirt. Oh yeah, it's like this kind of shiny fabric. It's just like a bra and skirt, another bra and pants. Yeah, it's like a dance costume. It's a Hollywood moment.
Ooh, I like that.
In my head. I feel like really shapeless stuff is like very art.
What the fuck is that?
It just came with it. It's just extra fabric. But I'm just gonna make a headpiece out of it.
Oh, I love that.
So that's very like Waka Waka AA. I think like just making more headpieces is where I can start. Like there's this thing that I used to make my bra. Done.
Oh, mama, she's ready for season 12.
I definitely consider myself like a cis man who does drag, and it's a costume that I put on. It's my artistic and like expressive outlet, and now it's like, you know, a side hustle, part-time income for me. So it just really gives you the space to create whatever you want to create. because you're doing something and you're doing it through hair and through makeup and through an outfit and through movement and through lighting.
I'm like, oh yeah, me and Angela like used to not like each other for like a whole last year when we first started working together. Obviously, when you spend so much time with somebody and like you are both passionate about something and you talk regularly about it, it just built a friendship and it just kind of like grows really fast. And I'm like really annoying, so I'm like always sliding in her DMs and bugging her. So she had no option but to be my friend. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Babyguuurl. I'm queer. I'm here and I'm ready to chug some beer. Oh, hi. Hi.
When you kind of deconstruct it, it's really not that crazy. It's this just like red whatever dress. Over it, he just wrapped this beautiful like red and gold robe over it. And for me, it just really let me live my full like Chinese Empress fantasy. Let me put it on Do Not Disturb mode. This is that Lunar New Year like red runway look I was telling you about. This was the fetish theme look. I got this like, this is so crazy. This is like, these are like the first bondage gears I ever bought, but I got this little like lip gag thing off of Amazon. I love this like little like bra moment and these little like leg harness moments, and I had this chain and like here's a little close-up which I feel hella weird and awkward showing you. I have kind of like incorporated like cute casual looks into it just so I can like get my real everyday girl fantasy.
When I'm not in drag, I dress like full-on boy. So that was never really a thing for me, like wearing super tight skinny jeans or like wearing boy makeup or anything. And I knew I liked more feminine things, but I was also that very boy type of child growing up. Like I liked climbing trees, I liked going on adventures, I liked getting dirty, I liked playing in the dirt, pulling up worms, I liked racing cars, go-kart racing, everything.
Like I was obsessed with Barbies. I had like a whole ass collection. I'm like,
for me growing up,
like my favorite thing. I was always obsessed with.
I was
like,
always like very
female
feminine
characters.
and
When I was a child, my favorite toy was Barbie. So
Like we both started actually becoming part of the scene at the same time, like, you know, meeting people, getting into it, going out. And for me, part of it was that like when I first meet people, I'm not very much myself. Like I'm more reserved, and so with these girls that I would work with, you know, on average once a month, they thought I didn't like them because I was very quiet. And before I became like an actual part of the drag scene, I thought that the professional thing to do was to just show up, perform, and leave, you know, just very like professional, like I'm here to do this work, I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna leave. That is my job. And I didn't realize that part of doing drag is socializing, and that's probably the biggest part of it, honestly. And part of doing drag is having people get to know you.
It was a lot of hard work. I was fucking up my makeup at every turn, and I was like, this wing is not going the way I want it. How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? Like 2 seconds into the performance, my lashes flew off because I did not know like what were the good lash glues to buy. And I'm so nitpicky, so I was looking at the video over, I was like, that split could have gone better, or like this like walk could have looked cuter. I could have like swayed my hips a little more, or like shoulders back a little more. Seattle already is very white, and due to, you know, gentrification and a lot of other things, like a lot of people of color get pushed out and they have significantly less resources and opportunities to be as amazing to the top of their potential. This is a community where I can see a disproportionate amount of like successful white queens and white queens in leadership positions, as opposed to successful, and by successful I mean, you know, like getting more bookings, getting more of a name recognition, getting paid more, getting you know, more opportunities to grow. So like I see less successful POC queens and like POC queens in leadership roles. I'm a dope performer and I know that, but I think sometimes I need to like prove myself in order to have the chance to be like recognized as like someone who's welcome to have a seat at the table.
That's one thing a lot of people don't take into consideration here, especially being a POC queen, is that there isn't much of us. So anytime I like have a booking with one, I'm just like, oh, there's another one. As POC queens, we definitely have to work harder. A lot of Caucasian queens, they can just go out there, knock it out, get a bunch of screams and whatnot. But since there is less of us and we have less of a presence, we have to constantly be on our game. I remember they had the It Gets Better project, I think that launched in maybe 2010, and I was sat there watching it. Oh my gosh, and I was like, because high school is hard as is, and try being a new student from a different country that's also gay and doesn't sound like everybody else. It was extremely challenging. So coming into my sexuality, that project helped me a lot, and it helped me work up the courage to tell my mother I was gay. But she kind of just brushed it under the rug, like, oh, okay. With a lot of parents, they still face that struggle of understanding their child and their sexuality, but then try throwing in, oh, I'm also a drag queen now. That was like having to come over another hurdle for her, because she didn't understand, and then she asked me if I was planning on transitioning, and I was like, no, I very much like myself, but I'm just a drag queen. I do it as a form of art, and I think a lot of people lose sight of that. It's a form of artistry.
Obviously, yes, the number one thing is I want people to be entertained, whether they're like, damn, that was a really good like dance move, or like, wow, she looks really pretty, or like, that little part made me laugh when she like whipped or something. Nonetheless, I want people to be happy. Like, it's a fucked up world we live in, so hopefully, like, you know, every drag queen says this, but like, if we can take away someone's like shitty day for like a 3-minute number, that's dope as fuck. Like, that's activism right there, you know?
I get more passionate about it the more I do it. And like sometimes like I have dry spells where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And then like I realize that it's like, if 16-year-old me saw me now, like I don't think that they would believe it.
Because if you would have told me about a year and a half ago that this is where I'd be right now, I would have been like, oh, you're dismal, or you're mental.
It sounds so cheesy and like so corny, and I feel like so many queens say it, but I feel like drag like really like saved my life in a way that like it gave me something to like put, like whenever I'm depressed or anxious or like stressed or like sad, it's like you could take all of that and you could put it into drag. I could take that and I can make like a sad or like angry or political or crazy number, and it's like that's therapeutic to me.